First of all, let's accept that we can never completely get rid of fear of cold calling. It doesn't matter how long you've been in sales, how many doors you knocked, how many numbers you dialed. The fear of cold calling is the kind of outer force that will always be with you. When fear of cold calling gets out of control, it quickly starts affecting our thinking, our performance, our lives, and for many people it is the main reason why they quit sales before they even get a proper feel of it. So here are 2 simple, effective Jedi mind tricks that will help you conquer the fear of cold calling. These tricks will make the fear your obedient slave and will help you close more deals day in and day out. If you were to think of the last time when you were calling on your customers, there were 3 distinct stages that you needed to go through. And each of those stages had its own set of activities, thoughts, and emotions. Let's call those stages preparation, action, and reflection. During preparation stage, we are getting ready for our cold calling session. We are going through our sales pitch, objection handling, closing strategy. If you are in door-to-door, this is usually the time when you are driving towards your territory. As you probably already noticed, fear of cold calling manifests itself mainly in this preparation stage. And it gets stronger and stronger the closer you get to knocking your first door or dialing your first number. The action stage begins when we start interacting with a prospect. Surprisingly, during this stage, most of the fear goes away. Our mind gets fully engaged in the process of delivering sales pitch, building rapport, handling objections, and trying to close the deal. And because our mind can only handle one task at a time, there is no room left for what-if scenarios and the fears that come with them. When the call is over, the reflection stage kicks in and we start replaying in our head what happened during a cold call or during a cold calling session. A good analogy to think of is skiing. Think of the preparation stage as you getting a lift to the top of the hill and then skiing slowly from the lift area to the starting point and looking over the edge of a trail that starts with a sharp drop. The closer you get to that edge, the stronger is the fear of skiing down. But once you get over that edge, the fear gets pushed out of your mind. You need to be 100% engaged to race down the slope and to stay on your feet. Eventually, you get to the end of the trail, there is nothing more to fear, there is nothing more to do. What is left is to relive that experience in your mind and to share the excitement with your friends. So, fear of cold calling is strongest in the preparation stage, and the nature of the fear is that our mind is generating ridiculous, unrealistic scenarios that we have no power to control. Here is your first tool for dealing with fear of cold calling. The moment you notice the fear, think of the action stage. Imagine being already in front of a customer, interacting and delivering your sales pitch. Visualize yourself with your shoulders back, slight smile in your face, radiating confidence of a salesperson that has everything under control. When you build an imaginary world like this, all the fears that come your way will be grounded in some sort of reality. It is hard to imagine a venomous snake jumping out of customer's door and swallowing you in one piece. It just doesn't happen. It is possible though to imagine a customer saying that they have no time or no money. But this is when you can already start rehearsing your objection handling strategy. All you need to do to make this work is to raise your hand and say, I swear, next time I experience fear of cold calling, I will visualize myself in the action stage. Second tool, 100 times as powerful. The nuclear weapon of elimination of fear of cold calling is a journal. If you have done cold calling even once, you already know that you're going to feel more or less in control during a call and that you will likely feel good afterwards. Yet our mind has this amazing ability to ignore and forget what happened during the call and to present us again and again with all those dreadful, unrealistic scenarios of what could have happened. But if you were to grab a notebook and write down how you felt before, during, and after a sales call, your mind would again ignore and forget what actually happened. It would also ignore its interpretation of what happened, and it would only remember what you wrote in that notebook. Can you see the magic of that? Here is how my journal entries used to look like. During the preparation stage, I was worried that no one would pick up the phone and that people would get upset with me that I interrupted their day, and that I wouldn't be able to articulate my thoughts clearly. During the action stage, 2 people hang up on me, but it just gave me a kick of adrenaline. And with one guy I had an amazing conversation with, and I felt that I made a friend. After the calling session, I felt empowered because of the 2 leads that I generated, and although I didn't hit the target that I set myself, I got pretty close to it. I always finish my journal entries with a line, and that's how I'm going to double my sales. It is a silly line, but because I write it in my journal, it starts popping up in my head, and I notice how my mind starts looking for justifications of this statement. Right now, if I were to think of cold calling, I would notice the fear. It is there. But my mind doesn't hang on to it. My thoughts naturally flow to all the good feelings that are generated in the action and reflection stages. Once again, fear of cold calling is normal human emotion that will follow you for the rest of your sales career. Fear of cold calling is easier to handle if you visualize yourself in the action stage, already interacting with a customer. Writing a journal will help you see fear in the context of all the other emotions that occur during a sales call. So grab a notebook and create a journal entry right now. Commit yourself to creating those entries for 2 weeks in a row and watch how fear of cold calling becomes just another power that you control. If you have done skiing a few times, you already know that it is dangerous, yet you want to come back again and again because of all the good feelings that are generated in the process of skiing. Starting from today, you can feel exactly the same way about cold calling. And that's how you are going to double your sales. Please check out my other videos.